a mere 7 years after my graduation day, I had failed on an epic scale. An exceptionally short-lived marriage had imploded, and I was jobless, a lone parent, and as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. The fears that my parents had had for me and that I had had for myself had both come to pass. And by every usual standard, I was the biggest failure I knew. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that failure is fun. That period of my life was a dark one, and I had no idea that there was going to be what the press has since represented as a kind of fairy tale resolution. I had no idea then how far the tunnel extended, and for a long time, any light at the end of it was a hope rather than a reality. So why do I talk about the benefits of failure? Simply because failure meant a stripping away of the inessential. I stopped pretending to myself that I was anything other than what I was, and began to direct all my energy into finishing the only work that mattered to me. Had I really succeeded at anything else, I might never have found the determination to succeed in the one arena where I believed I truly belonged. I was set free because my greatest fear had been realized, and I was still alive, and I still had a daughter whom I adored, and I had an old typewriter and a big idea.
What if I told you that the darkest period of someone's life became the birthplace of one of the most beloved stories ever told? That a single mother living on welfare, battling depression, and facing rejection after rejection would create a billion-dollar empire that would touch millions of hearts worldwide. Today, I'm going to share the incredible story of J.K. Rowling and how she transformed her deepest pain into the magical world of Harry Potter. This isn't just about writing success. This is about turning your rock bottom into your foundation for greatness. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand how your worst moments can become your greatest masterpieces. Picture this. It's 1990, and a young woman named Joanne Rowling is sitting on a delayed train from Manchester to London. She's 25 years old, and her life feels like it's falling apart. Her relationship is crumbling. Her career is stagnant, and she feels completely lost. But then, as she stares out the window at the passing countryside, something magical happens. An idea begins to form in her mind. The image of a young boy with messy black hair and round glasses starts to take shape. She doesn't know it yet, but this moment of inspiration during one of her darkest periods will change everything. But here's what makes this story extraordinary. The idea for Harry Potter didn't come during a time of happiness and success. It came during a period of profound struggle, when Rowling was questioning everything about her life and future. Sometimes, our greatest creations are born not from comfort, but from the urgent need to escape our pain and create something beautiful from our brokenness. That train ride was just the beginning. Over the next few years, Rowling's life would spiral into what she later described as the darkest period of her existence. She moved to Portugal to teach English, where she met and married a Portuguese journalist. For a brief moment, it seemed like her life was turning around. She was writing, she was in love, and she felt hopeful about the future. But life had other plans. Her marriage quickly turned abusive and toxic. She found herself trapped in a relationship that was destroying her spirit and crushing her dreams. When she became pregnant with her daughter Jessica, she thought maybe things would improve. Instead, they got worse. Her husband's behavior became increasingly erratic and violent. Rowling found herself living in fear, walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next explosion would come. The breaking point came when her husband's abuse escalated to the point where she feared for her safety and that of her unborn child. In a moment of incredible courage, Rowling made the decision that would save her life. She left. With nothing but a suitcase and the manuscript she'd been working on, she fled Portugal and returned to Scotland with her baby daughter. But escaping the abuse was just the beginning of her struggles. Rowling found herself in Edinburgh, a single mother with no job, no money, and no clear path forward. She was living on welfare, struggling to make ends meet, and battling severe depression. She later described this period as being as poor as it's possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. She was spending her days in cafes because she couldn't afford to heat her apartment, writing longhand on scraps of paper while her baby daughter slept beside her. Can you imagine the weight of that situation? The shame, the fear, the uncertainty about whether she'd be able to provide for her child. The nights spent wondering if she'd made the right choice leaving her abusive marriage. The mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible because the future seemed so bleak. This is where most people would have given up. This is where most people would have accepted that their dreams were luxuries they couldn't afford. But J.K. Rowling was not most people. Instead of letting her circumstances defeat her, she made a decision that would change everything. She decided to pour all of her pain, all of her struggles, all of her hopes and fears into her writing. The story of Harry Potter, the boy who lived, became her lifeline. It was her escape from reality and her anchor to hope. Every day, she would take her daughter to cafes around Edinburgh and write. She couldn't afford a computer, so she wrote everything by hand. She couldn't afford childcare, so she wrote while Jessica slept. She couldn't afford distractions, so she focused with laser-like intensity on creating the magical world that was keeping her sane. The characters became her companions, the plot became her purpose, and the act of writing became her therapy. What's remarkable is how Rowling channeled her personal experiences into her fictional world. Harry Potter, like Rowling herself, was an orphan who felt alone and different. The themes of belonging, of finding your place in the world, of overcoming seemingly impossible odds, these weren't just plot devices. They were reflections of Rowling's own journey. The magic in Harry Potter wasn't just about spells and potions. It was about the magic of transformation, of rising above your circumstances, of finding power in your pain. The character of Harry resonated so deeply because Rowling had lived that feeling of being unwanted, of being different, of facing challenges that seemed insurmountable. When Harry discovers he's a wizard and finds his place at Hogwarts, it mirrors Rowling's own journey of discovering her power as a writer and finding her place in the world through her creativity. The themes of good versus evil, of choosing love over hate, of standing up to bullies and tyrants. These weren't abstract concepts for Rowling. She had lived them. She had faced her own dark wizards in the form of an abusive husband and a society that looked down on single mothers. She had experienced the power of love in her fierce devotion to her daughter. She understood what it meant to fight for what's right, even when the odds seemed impossible. After months of writing in cafes, living on welfare, and struggling to survive, Rowling finally completed her manuscript. She had created something truly special. A story that combined universal themes with magical elements. A coming-of-age tale that would appeal to both children and adults. She had poured her heart and soul into every page, and she believed she had something that could change her life. But the publishing world had other ideas. Rowling's journey to publication was almost as difficult as her journey to write the book in the first place. She faced rejection after rejection. 12 publishing houses turned down Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. 12 times, editors looked at her manuscript and said no thanks. 12 times, Rowling had to face the possibility that her dream might never become reality. Each rejection was like a personal attack on her hopes and dreams. Remember, this wasn't just a hobby for Rowling. This was her ticket out of poverty, her chance to provide a better life for her daughter, her opportunity to prove that she was more than just another struggling single mother. Every no felt like confirmation that maybe she wasn't good enough. Maybe her story didn't matter. Maybe she should give up and accept her circumstances. But here's where Rowling's story becomes truly inspiring. Instead of giving up, she kept going. She revised her manuscript. She researched new publishers. She sent out query letter after query letter. She refused to let rejection define her or her story. She understood something that most people never learn. Rejection isn't personal. It's just part of the process. Every no was bringing her closer to the yes that would change everything. Finally, after a year of rejections, a small publishing house called Bloomsbury agreed to publish Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Even then, they weren't entirely confident about the book's prospects. They gave Rowling a modest advance and printed a small first run. They suggested she get a day job because children's books didn't make much money. They had no idea they were about to publish one of the most successful book series in history. The rest, as they say, is history. But it's important to understand that Rowling's success wasn't overnight. Even after getting published, she faced challenges. Some critics dismissed her work as simplistic. Others said it was too dark for children. There were concerns about the magical elements and whether parents would approve. But readers, especially young readers, connected with Harry Potter in a way that surprised everyone in the publishing industry. The first book became a sensation, leading to a 7-book series that would sell over 500 million copies worldwide. The books were translated into dozens of languages and adapted into a blockbuster film series. Rowling went from living on welfare to becoming one of the wealthiest women in the world. She had transformed her pain into a global phenomenon that touched millions of lives. But what makes Rowling's story truly remarkable isn't just her financial success. It's how she used her platform to make a difference in the world. She became a philanthropist, donating millions to causes she cared about. She used her influence to speak out against injustice and to support marginalized communities. She never forgot where she came from or the struggles that shaped her. Rowling has been open about her battles with depression and how writing saved her life. She's talked about how the Dementors in Harry Potter were inspired by her own experience with depression, soul-sucking creatures that drain hope and happiness from their victims. By putting her pain into her fiction, she not only healed herself, but also created characters and situations that helped millions of readers understand and cope with their own struggles. The impact of Harry Potter goes far beyond entertainment. The series has inspired countless young people to read, to believe in themselves, to stand up for what's right. It's created a global community of fans who find comfort, friendship, and belonging in the magical world Rowling created from her darkest moments. Teachers use the books to teach empathy and moral reasoning. Therapists use the characters and themes to help patients work through their own challenges. What can we learn from J.K. Rowling's incredible journey? First, your worst moments can become your greatest material. Rowling didn't succeed despite her struggles. She succeeded because of them. Her pain gave her story depth, authenticity, and emotional resonance that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Don't waste your pain. Use it as fuel for your creativity and growth. Second, persistence beats talent every time. Rowling wasn't the most technically skilled writer when she started. She didn't have connections in the publishing industry. She didn't have a marketing budget or a platform. What she had was an unwavering belief in her story and the determination to keep going despite rejection after rejection. Success isn't about being the best, it's about lasting the longest. Third, your circumstances don't define your destiny. Rowling was a single mother on welfare with no prospects and no resources. By every external measure, she was a failure. But she refused to let her circumstances limit her vision of what was possible. She understood that your current situation is temporary, but your dreams can be permanent if you're willing to work for them. Fourth, sometimes you have to write your own happy ending. Rowling couldn't control her abusive marriage, her financial situation, or the publishing industry's initial rejection of her work, but she could control her response to these challenges. She chose to channel her energy into creating something beautiful rather than wallowing in self-pity or giving up on her dreams. Fifth, authenticity resonates. Harry Potter wasn't successful because it followed a formula or because it was written to appeal to market trends. It was successful because it came from a real place, from real emotions and real experiences. Readers could sense the authenticity in Rowling's writing, the genuine emotion behind the magical elements. When you create from your truth, people can feel it. Sixth, rejection is redirection. Those 12 publishers who rejected Harry Potter weren't necessarily wrong about their decision at the time, but they were wrong about the book's potential. Sometimes rejection is protecting you from the wrong opportunity, and directing you toward the right one. Bloomsbury might not have been Rowling's first choice, but they were the right choice for her story. 7th, success is about more than money. While Rowling's financial success is impressive, her real achievement is the impact she's had on readers around the world. She's created something that brings joy, comfort, and inspiration to millions of people. She's used her platform to advocate for important causes and to give back to her community. True success is measured not just by what you achieve, but by how you use your achievements to lift others up. The story of J.K. Rowling proves that your lowest point can become your launching pad. The period of her life when she felt most hopeless and desperate became the foundation for her greatest success. The experiences that nearly broke her became the experiences that made her one of the most beloved authors in the world. Think about your own life for a moment. What struggles are you facing right now? What pain are you carrying? What challenges seem insurmountable? Rowling's story suggests that these aren't obstacles to your success. They might be the very experiences that will fuel your breakthrough. Your pain has purpose. Your struggles have meaning. Your challenges are preparing you for something greater. The key is to not just endure your difficult times, but to transform them. Use your experiences as material for your growth. Channel your emotions into your creativity. Let your struggles give your dreams urgency and authenticity. Don't wait for your circumstances to improve before you start working towards your goals. Start where you are, with what you have, and trust that your journey will lead you exactly where you need to be. Rowling's story also reminds us that creativity can be a form of healing. Writing Harry Potter wasn't just a career move for Rowling, it was therapy. It was a way to process her trauma, to create beauty from her pain, to give meaning to her suffering. Whatever creative outlet speaks to you, writing, art, music, entrepreneurship, helping others, use it as a tool for transformation. Remember that success isn't always linear. Rowling's path from struggling single mother to international phenomenon wasn't a straight line. There were setbacks, rejections, moments of doubt, and periods of despair. But each setback was preparing her for the comeback. Each rejection was building her resilience. Each moment of doubt was strengthening her resolve. The most powerful part of Rowling's story might be how she's used her success to help others. She's been vocal about her struggles with depression, helping to reduce stigma around mental health. She's donated millions to poverty alleviation programs, remembering what it felt like to worry about her next meal. She's supported literacy programs and children's charities, understanding the power of stories to change lives. Your story matters. Your struggles have shaped you into someone with unique insights, perspectives, and gifts to offer the world. Like Rowling, you have experiences that only you can transform into something beautiful and meaningful. The question isn't whether you have what it takes to succeed. The question is whether you're willing to see your challenges as opportunities and your pain as potential. J.K. Rowling's journey from pain to Potter proves that sometimes our greatest gifts come wrapped in our greatest struggles. The woman who felt like a failure became one of the most successful authors in history. The mother who worried about providing for her child became a billionaire philanthropist. The abuse survivor became a voice for the vulnerable and marginalized. Your current chapter is not your final chapter. Your struggles are not your identity. Your pain is not your destiny. Like Rowling, you have the power to transform your darkest moments into your brightest achievements. You have the ability to turn your mess into your message, your test into your testimony, your pain into your purpose. The magic isn't in avoiding difficulties, it's in transforming them. The real wizardry isn't in escaping reality, it's in creating something beautiful from whatever reality you're given. J.K. Rowling didn't need magic to change her life. She just needed courage, persistence, and the belief that her story mattered. Your story matters too. Your struggles are preparing you for something greater. Your pain is pointing you toward your purpose. Your challenges are building the character you'll need for the success that's coming. Don't give up on your dreams because of your circumstances. Instead, let your circumstances fuel your dreams. The world needs what you have to offer. the story only you can tell, the perspective only you can share, the solution only you can provide, the hope only you can give. Like Harry Potter emerging from the cupboard under the stairs to discover his true identity and power, you too have greatness within you, waiting to be revealed. J.K. Rowling's story reminds us that sometimes the most powerful magic is simply refusing to give up. It's choosing hope over despair, creation over destruction, possibility over limitation. It's understanding that your current circumstances are not your final destination. From welfare to wealth, from rejection to recognition, from pain to Potter, from struggle to success. This is the power of transformation. The magic of persistence, the wonder of refusing to let your circumstances write your story. You are the author of your own life, and like J.K. Rowling, you have the power to turn your pain into something beautiful, meaningful, and magical. If this story inspired you to see your struggles in a new light, and motivated you to turn your pain into purpose, make sure to subscribe to StoVibe for more incredible stories of transformation and triumph. Hit that notification bell so you never miss content that could change your perspective and your life. Remember, your greatest masterpiece might be born from your most difficult moments. The question is, are you ready to create magic from your struggles?